Welcome to another episode of Philosophy of Chillin. I'm your host, Don't Love to Connect, and yeah, I don't want to record today, but this is something that I feel I must do to stay disciplined in the things that I have felt in my heart to be the things and say the things that God has placed in me to do. And I didn't plan to come to the camera this way. Excuse the interruption. I just didn't want it to mess up the audio. Because then it would create issues in editing and post. So, to continue, I didn't plan to come to the camera like this today, but I don't even have my glasses on, so it's like, it is what it is. Things happen, and you just gotta deal with it. Which is why, well, not necessarily why, but what I just mentioned is an attribute to what one can experience around the topic that is being discussed today. And that is a question pertaining to recognition. And honestly, again, this is a conversation that can go so many different ways. But I really want to draw on the things that I am supposed to say, so this doesn't turn into something that is just like venting. So the question that I was trying to answer or think through specifically was really, how can one, and my apologies, I'm writing notes, but how can one apply the philosophy of chillin to the different stages and effects with an E. How can one apply the philosophy of chillin to the different stages and effects of recognition? I've told my interviewees this at times, and I can say it again because it's just my reality, but a lot of the times I don't even write questions previously before recording. Like, the questions that I ask, or sometimes even the responses that I give towards the questions that are asked to me, really are things that curate themselves genuinely. And with this conversation, I want to make sure that I don't roll off in a tangent, but I do want to discuss the different elements that I'm understanding and am currently processing. The first thing is, what is somebody really like? How do you address the duality of recognition? That's where I'm getting stuck, because there's so much. And recognition is something that someone asks for and at the same time doesn't feel like they're getting enough of. And for me, I have been a part of and around so many different people and teams. And when I listen to the conversations about recognition, the ups and downs that it can give you, whether it be from materialistic championing, awards, statuses, things of that sort, or, just internal forms of recognition, like the things that you find others to say to you validating. And trying to understand the balance between the two and how it can affect you. It's been interesting trying to dissect it and explain it and how I think through it, because I guess the first thing that needs to be said is the fact that when I perceive something and versus what I recognize to be true, that I work very hard for that not to come from my surface level understanding, because I could stop there and honestly it would be really easy. It would be so simple. Millions of people will get it. Millions of people have felt it, are feeling it, and are going to in the future. It's inevitable. And that's cool and all. But it's something about the words that I say to not just myself, but what I try to do through my actions too, is trying to make it clear that I'm not doing the things that I'm doing purely off my own fruition. And what I mean by that is, when I'm thinking about the duality in regards of recognition and how it affects you and things of that sort, well, my first question in trying to address that is always, well, where do I get that recognition from? Where do I feel it? And I can definitely feel it from people when people take the time to recognize in any forms of ways. But that's so temporary and fleeting because it really just depends on the season. And for me, I want to always look towards longevity and wealth building and something that is stable and has stability. And when I look at that, my form of recognition don't come from people. And in fact, I have a very tough relationship with receiving that form of recognition because there's so many complexities that come with it that can be very frustrating. So, in regards, I shift my attention to the ideas and trying to understand where they come from and how they get to me in an intensity to where I have to make sure that energy is dispelled appropriately. And when I feel those intentions and the journey of trying to uphold those actions, what I found was that the forms of recognition that I really receive are the genuine compliments that another soul gives me and communicates with me because I can see it in their eyes that it's true. It's true when they say thank you. And that understanding always brings me back to the statement of addressing the duality of recognition in the fact that I don't need your validity. And when I say that, I speak about everybody. There's people I respect, but I don't need your validity to do what I'm doing currently. To be the person that I am when I step onto a team or try to help out where I can or just be me. That's not where it stems from for me. So whether you feel comfortable to or don't necessarily say it vocally, I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing, which is why I have a hard time receiving recognition currently in the forms of somebody saying, even to the smallest degree of yo, you did a great job. And it's I would have did it anyway, but thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm trying not to let my mind overthink the negativity that could come with somebody even having genuine appreciation for the things that I say and do. Which is why I was wanting to bring up duality, because there's two different sides of the coins to everything. And even in recognition, it's great, it's amazing, it heightens up the endorphins, it gets you going. Yeah, these people, I'm confident. Not only it makes you confident in yourself to a blind degree, but it also amplifies you even higher when you have people behind you that are just yeah, go, do it, do you. So it's kind of like a balance beam, because essentially people all the time gonna be bro, I want somebody to recognize the thing that I do and just be grateful for it. That's all I want to feel, or that's all I want them to say is just, thank you for the things that I do, to whatever scale that applies to. And yes, we should be getting recognized for the things that we do genuinely. But also, there's a side to where someone can genuinely appreciate you, let you know, and in their own development of growth and working through their traumas and the things that it places and has an effect on them in, those same words could be misconstrued to a point where it could be seen as justifying actions or behavior, or even words of and phrases that's not necessarily what you meant for it to do. And that in itself is one of the reasons that prevented me from speaking so consistently publicly, because I mean, I'm doing it without the camera regardless, but it's like once you invite more people, that access is then under their perspective and control. Does that make sense? Like, they can scrutinize it if they want to, but at the end of the day, it just depends on the person that you're dealing with too. So it's like, yeah, I want more people to, engage or do this or do that and XYZ ABC. But are you also willing to take on the responsibility that it can weigh on you? Because if someone does something that you don't necessarily agree with, but they quoting you, and you like, what? And you only getting the praise from the whole dissertation that I said, but like at the end of the day, I mean, it's out there. So like, it just depends on the person and how they apply it and to what too. So I guess it came to my head because when I look around at the people that I have met before and that I know, it's like I truly love the growth. And I love to see the team of creatives and the different passions evolve and transform and blossom to the things that they are doing currently. And it brings me joy to see that. And even in my own journey, even in the stages of life where I can see somebody recognize me and the things that I do and give me recognition for it, and still act differently because of it. And it can be in so many different scales, not just in my own personal journey, but within others as well. And at a certain degree, whether it's in you starting, you being well established, but then something happening and you internally or materialistically feel like you're losing everything, emotionally, materialistically, you're feeling like you're losing everything. The way that I think through recognition now versus the way I did before, if materialistically, emotionally, I feel like I'm losing everything, it's like, bro, I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to give. I'm trying. I might as well just lay here and let the things keep going and just stay stuck in the emotions and feelings. And I would be justified for that because I can come up with so many different points and opinions. But now, how I think about it is more so like, shoot, even if so and so think XYZ, even if materialistically this not making sense to somebody, even if emotionally, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm just here saying what just flows through and out of my brain and out to you. It's like, okay, cool. But spiritually, do I feel like I am content and peaceful in the actions that I'm doing, even if the situation is messed up? Did I try everything? Did I uphold the standards of myself that I know to be true to that level? And if not, then I'm like, okay, I need to hold myself accountable because this person may be right. Because it's recognition, it goes both ways. It's not always just positive stuff. Like, it's negative stuff too. Like, somebody telling you about yourself. And you're like, okay, cool. At the end of the day, what are you going to do and address the situation and how you receive it and how you move forward from it and how you address it? All the forms of recognition is what I'm trying to speak to, because at the end of the day, once you have an understanding of the foundation of where it stems from, then you can start to see kind of where you fall in between the balance beam. It's like, okay, what do you lean more towards doing? Okay, well, I mean, all you gotta do now at this point is just be honest with yourself, and either you want to stay leaning in that direction or you want to try to balance it out. No one said it'd be like something easy to do. Boy, trust me. But in understanding recognition, in understanding the different stages that I spoke to and the effects that it has on you, the effects, oof, it's overwhelming. Like, in any degree, and it really relies on your mental state and how you feel internally on how you deal with and address everything. So, I mean, in the different stages of recognition, I mean, you have nobody paying you attention. Then you can go from no one paying you attention to you maybe start recognizing yourself. That may come last, that may come first, that may happen in the middle, but that's a stage of it, especially if the people around you, even in a small circle, start to recognize you too. Because even their comments and their interactions are affecting you. And at the end of the day, it also boils down to how you're processing it. Because in whatever area of emotion it falls in, is magnified by so much. Like, if it were just you alone, it would be, okay. But when it's you and then either half the people on this side, maybe 3 times that over here, like, yeah, you right, cool. Or you have people that have access and it's like, nah, you piece of shit, what the fuck? That can get conflicting. At whatever scale, it doesn't have to be millions of people. Like, it can be a group of 5 folks, and you might like or have certain perspectives on 2 of them. And 3 of them, you might not even, you may not know them at all. But that feedback still impacts you, whether it's communicated to you or not. Because if you can feel it, it doesn't have to be said. You feel it. It's just about if you trust it. Which is why I go back to the statement of, and the question of, how can one apply the philosophy of chillin to the different stages and effects of recognition? Well, for one, you have to know yourself and know how you receive the situations, the feedback, the elements of life that you're placed in. Because there is a duality to it, and it gets very complicated. And you have to find your balance. And once you have an understanding, or at least an awareness, or even the inclination to find out, that alone is helpful to the situation, because it's like an aid as you move further and further along. And once you're placed in the different situations, you're gonna respond. That's regardless. But it's about how you process during and after and before as well. So in applying it, try to put your mind in an active state. Don't let it be numb. Don't let it be dormant. Like, receive it as it's facing you. But address it, well, not but, and addressing the effects. You have to know where, one, your recognition is stemming from. Like, is it from other people? Is it from the feeling that you get when you do something for people? Like, is it spiritual? Like, what is it? Where does it come from? Only you know what's really true. Like, you can tell folks anything. We already know that. But you can't really lie to yourself unless you're choosing to lie to yourself. And you still know that. So, when dealing with the effects, like, yeah, that's a balance, but like, that's a balance to a different degree. Because it will create blind confidence. And you will just do what you do sometimes without thinking it through. And that is dangerous. It don't matter if someone has the best intentions or the most negative. It can be dangerous on both degrees, because it's, once you start getting even your own level of self-recognition, at the end of the day, any form of recognition can sway you towards the extreme in a particular direction or other way. Because that validation, it adds to what's already there. And it exposes where your true actions lie within the situations that you're given in life. So, I mean, you can put on a front or put on like a mask and act one way, but at some point in time, like I was saying before, those different stages of recognition, once you're giving people access, it's out of your control how they take it. and what they do with it. So if you're trying to get through the ways in which other people address you based off what they perceive, well, it's gonna be a long road, huh? You feel me? So you have to find your own pathway, your own understanding, and your own accountability tactics to make sure you don't go in too deeply blindly. Because I mean, if you get a certain level of recognition, like, I mean, whether it be from yourself, millions of people, thousands of people, community folks, small group, it don't matter. Like, once you got it, like, you cool. You can build from that and you can do whatever makes you comfortable. But you still have to address those elements, because if you're not paying attention to what's happening around you as you're receiving, it can destroy the very thing that you are feeling. So you can't necessarily just do the things that you feel make you keep the recognition you're craving going. Because once you know yourself, you know when you're starting to lose focus too, and when to re-energize and recollect yourself so you can still showing up to be you. No one said you had to stop getting the recognition. It's just about having it and not taking it for granted and owning the responsibility of it. So, with that being said, I think this is my stopping point. I appreciate y'all for listening again. And at this point in time, like, I don't know what topic is gonna come next. So for the ones that are staying on this journey, let's keep going. So I'm out of here. Peace.